Okay, my name is Carter Watkins. This is my autobiography analysis. I picked the book I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. Kind of a wild title. That's one of the big reasons why I picked it. So first off is a summary. I got a list of notes I'm gonna be writing from. Okay, so the book is mainly about her struggle to become independent. She has a super controlling mother. Ever since she was 6, she was forced to go to auditions that she didn't want to because she didn't even like acting. But she just wanted her mom to be happy, so she would comply with it. But her mom takes controlling to like a completely new level. It's really creepy and pretty gross too. She starts with auditions at 6. First of all, being a child actor is bad, especially in Nickelodeon if you've watched the other documentary, which is super gross. Um, she's not allowed to take a shower alone without her mother until the age of 17. I thought that was crazy. Seems like a struggle to me. Her mom is always obsessed with enhancing her looks too, with like makeup and other beauty products. This lowers her self-esteem and makes her feel ugly because the only time the mom likes to look at her is when she has all the beauty makeup on. The mom is so controlling of Jennette and her career that she tries to stunt her puberty by restricting the amount of calories she can eat in a day. So McCurdy ended up weighing herself like 5 times a day just to keep under a certain weight. Eventually, the mom dies, bunch of brain tumors, goes into coma, and she dies. After this, Jennette still feels like she's controlled by her mom, and then she eventually feels like she's controlled by the creator, which is like one of the big bosses at one of her studios that she used to act at. And she got very sexualized by him, so it went from looking perfect by her mom to like looking perfect sexually by the creator. She eventually develops bulimia, which is it's a food disorder. It's when you binge eat because you're super hungry, and then you throw it all up because you don't want to gain any weight. So that's what every day was for her. She would eat and then she would throw up, just so she could keep on losing weight. She eventually seeks treatment for that by a therapist, and she realizes that her mom is the cause of all of her problems. And eventually, with enough help and enough time, she's able to eat a cookie without feeling the need to throw up. So that was like a big moment for her, like a big growth moment. And the book ends with her visiting her mom's grave for the last time. Basically, she summarizes all of her thoughts in a couple paragraphs. She just says that they put her mom on a pedestal because they said all these kind things about her mom on the tombstone when she really wasn't any of them. Like, she wasn't joyful or playful or kind. She was just manipulative and narcissistic and really disgusting with a lot of McCurdy's bodies. She also goes to say that we shouldn't put moms on a pedestal either. Like the big thing in American culture is that moms are saints just because they're moms. Like, no one can do what they can do. But McCurdy turns that around because the only mom that she knew was terrible to her. So she says we shouldn't put these women on a pedestal just because they're mothers, but we should only put the good ones up and acknowledge that there were bad ones. All right, how does it relate to the class? I chose this book because it was a really very good representation of the ideal woman stereotype. Like, she was forced to form into a stereotype that her mom forced upon her. Most of the time, women force it upon themselves. Like, they want to look perfect and they want to eat healthy, work out. They don't want to look too skinny. They don't want to look too heavy or too old. But this time, it was the mom that forced it upon her. And it's kind of an over exaggeration of the normal ideal woman stereotype, because McCurdy was forced to restrict her diet so much so that she would stay looking like a child and keep on getting these teenage roles. So I think this was just a good version or a good representation of the ideal woman stereotype that we talked about in class a couple weeks ago. Okay, so a direct quote from this book that kind of complements the ideal stereotype I was talking about, or the ideal woman stereotype. This is what she says. The context is her mom is currently in a coma, and Jennette McCurdy, the author, is visiting her mother. This is what she says. Mommy, I am so skinny right now. I'm finally down to 89 pounds. End of quote. Basically, this means, or she explains this later in the paragraph, that she tried to say something so positive to her mother to wake her up from the coma. And the only thing she could think of was telling her mom that she hit like the minimal weight requirement that her mom set out for her, which I think is super depressing. Why did I choose this book? I chose this book because the title is insane. The title is I'm Glad My Mom Died. How can I not read that? Who titles a book like this? I also recognize the author. It's one of the girls. It's Sam from iCarly. That's who she is. She's in iCarly and she's in Sam and Cat. She's probably in a bunch of other stuff, but that's what I know her from because I used to watch those shows with my sisters. And if you can't see it, the picture is her holding an urn, which is probably supposed to be her mom. That's crazy. That's why I chose this book, because it's the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my life. All right. Reflecting on the prompts. That's what this section is. What did you know about the author prior to the reading? I knew her from iCarly. That's really it. I had heard of this book before. I didn't hear about it. I just saw it because it's a bright yellow book. It's bright yellow and pink, and the title is I'm Glad My Mom Died. So that stuck with me for a long time. And I've been meaning to read it, but I never did just because I didn't buy books in high school because, yeah, who buys books? But then this was kind of the perfect opportunity for me to get it because it fit the theme of what the assignment is for. All right, next prompt. What about the story did you find challenging? Everything in this book is challenging. It's mostly about her coming to terms with how manipulative her mother is and trying to like grow as a person and become like a fully functioning adult after what her mother put her through. It's also challenging for me to read the book because there are horror stories in this book. This book is hard to watch, or this book is hard to read. Every time I opened this book, it made me think of that movie, Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom, it's that movie where the guy kidnaps all the child traffickers and it shows a lot of the stuff that the kids have gone through. So it's like, it's a hard to watch movie, but it's an important message that people should know. And that's what I got from this book as well. It's very hard to read and it kind of makes you put the book down every now and then. But you kind of become more knowledgeable after you finish it. Like, you know what these people go through and you're not just ignorant to it anymore. So I think that's very important. What about this book impacted me the most? It was shocking. I watched the gross Nickelodeon documentary about Dan Schneider, so I knew that there was stuff wrong with the kids' movie industry, or the kids' like film industry, basically. This is so much worse. Hearing like personal tales, like first-person experiences about the stuff that she had gone through is so much worse than the documentary. It's like revolting. It's hard to put it into terms. I can give you a couple of examples about what happens in this book. She's not allowed to shower by herself until she's 17. She gets breast and genital exams by her mom until she's 17. Her mom like doesn't let her eat, so she develops an eating disorder. It's just it's crazy stuff, and I can't I can't do it. This isn't a funny thing that I'm talking about, but it's so shocking that it just kind of makes you laugh. Last prompt, end of video. How's reading this inspired me to further research the topic? Personally, I'm going to follow McCurdy's journey after this. I want to see what book she comes out. I want to see if she ever returns to acting. I hope she doesn't, because it seems like she actually hated it and she only did it for her mom, who was abusive. But she obviously has a very natural talent for writing, so I hope she continues in that. And I'll probably just end up looking her up every couple of years to see if she's doing all right, to see like what career she chose instead of acting, whether it be writing or something that I don't know yet. And that's about it. I recommend this book, but read it in pieces. Don't try to read it all at once. Like, give yourself a couple of breaks to read it. All right.